This here is Pastor Roy from Cleo, South Carolina, at the Catfish Creek Trailer Park, First Baptist Church. That's in Cleo, South Carolina, as I said before. And that is in Marlboro County with an M, just like the cigarettes. I would like to tell everybody that I endorse this message from Brother Feuerstein. He's a good man. He's a good-hearted man. He's got a big heart. He used to be a really fat guy. He's got a big heart because he used to pump a lot of places. Now, he's a skinnier feller, but he's still got a big heart. His heart stayed the same size, and I just want to just endorse him and this message to yuns. Well, howdy, folks. This is Cash Feuerstein here, broadcasting from the Outer Banks. And I am privileged, just fucking goddamn excited that I am able and have been invited to speak on this here atheist convention, so to speak. But it's an online convention. You don't really have to go anywhere. You just get in your underwear and your tube socks, and you're ready to go. Just hit play, and you can watch this shit from about anywhere with a Wi-Fi signal. Probably will be some cussing. Probably will hear some shit that would offend the average First Baptist blue-haired lady. But I am honored that I would be even asked. I've not podcasted now for about a year. Started Atheist on Air, was happy to do it, and thankfully Jason and Rachel and Professor Stephen, all three of who I love the fuck out of, took it over when I couldn't do it anymore. It was just life became too much. I got hemorrhoids and then the gout and herpetogonosyphilis from the two hookers that live near my house. And so bottom line is I'm had to take a break. I am excited to be here and again honored that I would be invited. You've probably never heard the fuck who I am, and it really doesn't fucking matter. I'm nobody really important. I'm the father of 9 kids, 4 adopted. Grew up Mormon, to give you a little backstory, and now I'm an atheist. Preached for a while at a non-denominational Baptist church. I call it Baptist because it was a lot Pentecostal and a little bit of Baptist. And I preached there and thought that I knew exactly what Jesus wanted me to do. It wasn't until I decided I needed to read the Bible so I could separate my growing up and early adulthood teachings from the Book of Mormon and the Mormon message, separate those, that I decided I needed to read the Bible. That was at 35 years old. At 38, I denounced religion. I became an atheist. I know, scary. And my wife freaked the fuck out. And it wasn't for about 2.5 years later before she became an atheist. And it's just because I'm good in bed. So she had some motivation. Bottom line is I am I'm happy that you're listening, both of you, and I've been asked to stick to a topic. Typically, if you've ever heard Atheist on Air, I do a rant, and I'm real good at being pissy and even spewing out shit that's not even factual, that I think's factual because I saw a meme and it sounded good and it fit with my ideology. But I usually get called out by friends on my atheist community, who are more than friends, they're family. But I have always from the very beginning and encouraged others to speak out. And you just heard my name, Cash Feuerstein, and probably suspected that was not my birth name, so to speak. And it ain't. Um, I am scared to death to come out still, and really can't. My family, my biological blood family, don't really talk to me because now I'm an atheist and they're Mormons, and there's a whole thing about not being with those people. Not communicating with those people. Not really on the atheist side, but on the Mormon side, there are pretty some standards there that kind of conflict with a relationship, so to speak. So it's been about it was almost 2 years till recently that I hadn't even spoken to my father, who we were pretty close before, because we were both gun toting, um, you know um, wait till the South rises again, God damn it, people. So I kind of burst his bubble and started thinking. And not that I'm smarter than him or smarter than you. I just read. And you can read too, and then we'd all be a better place if we all got, more than one book that was our best book and that we didn't even read, such as the Bible. I'm starting to sound like Sarah Palin, kind of mumbling around here. Bottom line is, I've always encouraged other people to speak out. It's hard to do that in some areas, mostly the Bible Belt areas. I live in the Outer Banks, which is pretty southern, and it's lots of churches and lots of Jesus signs and fishes on stickers on cars and magnets, and just Jesus loves you everywhere, and God bless you every time you meet somebody. Just God bless you. So, not as easy to come out. I have a business that's public, and so I have to be very careful to not come out as an atheist, because that would lose business. And it slipped at one point, and I have a fairly large Facebook following for my little niche market, and we lost a little over 1,000 people in one day because they heard that I was an atheist. And because I always am getting new customers, that went away, but it still hurt my business, and which ultimately hurts my family and livelihood. So why the fuck would I be here talking to you, telling you or asking you or sharing with you why you should come out? Come out fake. Come out with a pseudonym. Come out like No Illusions. Think about that name. Sounds good. Noah Illusions. It's even spelled kind of cool. It's spelled kind of like not no illusions. And it's a brilliant way to come out. It's a brilliant way to keep your family safe and still be able to deliver a message, which is the point of all this. Not that you have just an abundance of people that are waiting to hear your message because you have the cure for cancer, but you have one life. You have this opportunity, this little tiny piece of space and time to be able to touch and influence others. And 200 years from now, nobody will give two fucks about you and I. Even our blood kin. Even if I'd have stayed a Mormon, my great grandkids aren't going to go, boy, that Uncle Cash, he was dynamite. He loved the Lord. He loved the Lord. I've heard stories. No, they don't give a fuck. You don't talk about your grandparents from 3 generations ago. You talk about your recent grandparents, like I do, because you knew them. You went fishing with them, or they molested you, or whatever. But you don't talk about the ones that you didn't know. You don't talk about, oh, Aunt Gracie back in the 1600s, she's my 5th aunt. She was good. She helped Eli Whitney on the cotton gin. No, nobody gives a fuck. So you and I aren't going to even be a thought, a memory in the minds of even our blood kin 100 years from now, 200 years from now. We're going to be nothing. So I wanted to spend this time like I would spend this time as I do with my children. I want to make an impact. I want to be different. I want to be better. I want to become a better parent. 9 kids and I'm on my last 2, and I want to be better than I was a week ago. I want to be better than I was. Not that they're going to pass that information, but they're going to pass those lessons along. They're going to improve humanity. Imagine, and you've probably heard the analogy, throwing a pebble into a lake. And there's a ripple effect. And 200 yards down in the lake where you can't even see the pebble anymore, there's still a little tiny ripple. And that ripple makes a difference in something. Not maybe for the best, but in our case, we can make a ripple for good. You and I can make a ripple for good. And you're going, well, I'm just your average guy. I work at Shoney's and, I barely have enough time to even listen to a podcast, and I do this and that. And everything you do has a ripple effect. And my point of all this is that if you think you may not be the most popular podcaster, and it wasn't even my goddamn goal. It wasn't my goal, nor has it happened. But nor was it my goal to be famous or anything in the atheist movement. But I had a message. And for selfish reasons, I wanted to put that message out there. The nice part is that message hit other people. And if you've heard the Atheist on Air podcast, especially in the beginning when I have told my stories and shared my life events, you'd go, not that didn't sound boring as fuck, but you'd go, well, fuck, that plays to me. Or my dad was a dick too. Or I was molested as a child too. Or this happened. Sorry, my phone was ringing. So these things touched people, unbeknownst to me. Didn't even think that they would touch people. Like, oh my gosh, this person was affected by the words that came out of my mouth. They related to them. That changed people. And I got to thinking, well, I'm not in a competition. I'm not in a competition or trying to be the best podcaster there is and make all the money there is in the atheist movement. Even though I'm okay with the atheists that are out there doing podcasting and working their asses off so that they can provide a professional podcast and share with the world and help people. And some of them I listen to that inspire me, that I would cry if they left. Those are, I don't have any problem with people making money off that. I have a problem with people not doing it because they fear that people will think they're trying to make money off of it. Or they're trying to, but obviously if you start doing this full time or even halfway part time, you need to have an income. You need to have a GoFundMe or a fan page of some sort. I think that more of us need to be out there. I can guarantee you, and I'm talking to you, I can guarantee you that right now you have a story that would impact someone's life. And not just a little bit. It would save them. Save them maybe emotionally, maybe save their life. We were fortunate enough, if you can call it fortunate, to receive a couple emails in the year or two that we podcasted regularly from people that were verge of suicide. And you go, wow, you touch them. These are people that are like me. They're humans. They have families. They have lives. And for some reason, what you said touched them. Now, did that have to come in the form of a podcast? No. You could do a blog. You could do a co-contributor at a blog. But I'm going to share with you tonight just a few things, if you'll bear with me, how important your message, not my message, but your message is to someone, maybe to me. There's people like me that I fight depression. I have friends that have been through horrible situations, lost jobs over coming out, and a podcast changed their life that connected them to a group bigger than them so that they didn't feel alone. And that was the biggest thing that podcast did for me. There's people like, and I hate to throw out names and podcasts. I know I already mentioned No Illusions. In fear that I would hurt someone's feelings for not bringing up theirs. But I listen sporadically to podcasts, to different ones, and there's a few that are my favorites. And they're only my favorites because I have likes and wants and needs. It's like I like hot sauce on about every goddamn thing. I put it on tuna. I put it on everything. Hamburgers, French fries. I put it in ranch dressing to make my ranch dressing taste better. So we all have these personal things that we like better. And so I have podcasts like that. Not that I've heard them all, but there's podcasts that have physically and literally changed my life, made me a better person, made me a better parent. How many people have I, who have heard me, became a better parent or a better person or a better human because of what they heard? Well, I don't know. I've gotten some emails, probably a couple hundred emails, which sounds like fucking fantastic to me. Well, that makes a difference. And it makes more than a difference than you think. You think of a population of 7 billion on the planet and you only touch 200 people. Well, 200 people that are going to touch other people, that are going to touch other people, that are going to touch other people. You talking about leaving a legacy. You talking about a goddamn ripple. You just threw in a boulder into the lake. And your ripple is going to last for eons. So, what story do you have? Are you transgender and you had the double whammy, so to speak? You had, I'm transgender and an atheist. Well, fuck me. You just need to be put to death. Get a cross out now. Let me get my white cape and hood. And black. How about that? That's the trifecta of fucking evil, with the Christians. So now, how many people are like you? How many people are out there just like you that need to hear that need to hear your story, that know that they're not alone, that they're not the only black transgender atheist or agnostic? I'm fortunate enough that I started this podcast, and not this podcast, but a podcast that connected me with thousands of people. Over in a year's time, there was thousands of downloads started weekly. And we didn't start off that good. I mean, there was like 6 people listening to us in the beginning. And they only did it because, I told my kids, you don't get your allowance if you don't fucking listen. So I put that stuff out there, and I had no idea the ripple effect. Well, I want to know what you have. I want to know what you have, your story that changes me, that helps me feel more human, more connected to humanity instead of an outsider. I was an atheist for 3 fucking years before I even realized there was other atheists out there, and they were loud and bold about it. I was scared to fucking death that, oh shit, God even knows my thoughts. And even though I didn't believe in him, I felt like, how could everybody else be wrong? The point of all this is, and I my buddy Jim Beam and I, we podcast good together, but sometimes I ramble. And but I want you to know that there's that it comes from the heart, that I want you to do some things. I want you to put it out there. There's a girl I met at, I was fortunate enough to meet this summer, and I introduced some people to her on the Atheist on Air Facebook pages and private pages and shit, who touched my life. She was she's had it rough, to say the least. And I go, she writes well though. And I said, you need to be putting this out there. You need to say this stuff, because there's other people that can't write, don't have a knack for it, or don't have the time for it, that your words may heal. Your words will be better than any antidepressant or bottle of Jim Beam. And that's what I've gotten out of this podcasting. I got friends, and not kind of friends. I got real friends. I got people in the atheist experience that I've learned a bajillion drove of information from. I got people from the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, people from Cognitive Dissonance, the Scathing Atheist podcast, tons of podcasts. Bobby Carey, don't even know if you've heard of him. Look him up and look up the podcast. Look and go, well, fuck, I could do that. Bobby Carey is not a master at podcasting. I'm not a master at podcasting. Fuck, Seth Andrews, fucking thinking atheist, big name in the atheist community. Fantastic guy with a huge heart. Not a master at it. I don't know if he touches people. He communicates with some that take it in, that get it, that it registers, that it resonates with. That's what's happened to me. I got to meet people like Stephanie out of Florida. I'm not going to say her last name, but somebody that is a friend. If she needed me, and I know for a fact if I needed her, she'd be there, and has. There's people like Bobby Carey. There's people like Dave Foda. Doesn't run a podcast, but writes, and writes well. And you go, does he hit 10,000 people a day? No. But there's people he hits, and his message resonates with them. What ripple will you leave? What ripple will you leave behind on society, on humanity? You probably, and I'm not putting you down, but you probably, like me, aren't going to discover a cure for cancer or herpes gonosyphilis. But how many people could you affect? How many people could you touch? I've got a friend, and I'm proud to call him a friend, Kevin, out of Asheville, North Carolina, and he's got some disabilities, and he means the world to me. We don't talk that often, but he is brilliant, and he has called me out on when I've posted up a meme that's incorrect, or when I've said something on the podcast that was incorrect. He was Johnny on the spot, and he matters in my life. Do you think that doesn't have a ripple effect? That when I tell my kid something, or a friend something, or my neighbor something, or you something, that now that I have my facts straight, I tell you correctly because of Kevin? Or when Professor Steven, who does the Snake Oil Woo Woo segment, just used to come on originally, now he runs the show, him and Rachel, but he used to just come on just to do a little segment about snake oil science, homeopathic medicines and double oxygenated water. Most of us call it peroxide. But what effect has he had on me? I have a poster hanging on my wall. If you could see it right now, it's to my right here. But it's the common fallacies, the logical fallacies that we make. And I still make them. never would have heard about it. Never would have known how to understand them, how to apply those in my life and in context of my relationships and how I talk to people without knowing Professor Stephen. And I love him. I love him. If he needed a kidney right now, I'd be there. I'd have second thoughts to giving my dad a kidney, but I'd give Professor Stephen one in a second. Stephanie one in a second. There's people that you're going to meet because you got out, because you got out of your box and you went, oh, there's other people, and I'm helping them. And it's helping me. It's kind of, I told you I started that podcast out of selfish reasons, not for money or fame, but for getting shit off my chest. You can do that as well, and I hope you do. But I want to share a few things with you. I'm going to light a cigarette, and then I'm going to drink some bourbon, and then I'm going to come back, and we're going to talk about this. I'm going to show you some simple steps and how easy it is with zero money from a goddamn fucking smartphone. How you can touch other people, how you can help other people, how you can get off the sidelines, not that you're being lazy, that maybe you didn't even know that you could do. That you can start doing something that helps other people in this community. I've been fortunate enough to know thousands of fucking atheists, talk to thousands of atheists who've been affected by not just my words, but other people's words. I haven't affected thousands, but I've affected people. And there's people out there that were affected by others, and they've shared those stories with me. And I know that you have something. You have some way that you can help the others. And what a fucking legacy. How goddamn much would I love to know that I encouraged you to write in a blog, to write or to record some shit and put it on SoundCloud, or to get a free account, which I'm going to show you a website that you can get a free account to host podcasts. It won't cost you a fucking dime. Don't even need a fucking microphone. Use your speakerphone. Pre-record it on your goddamn cell phone. Do 5-minute podcasts if your phone doesn't handle a lot of data. I mean, there's so many ways around this. Just give me a second. I'm going to light a cigarette, smoke some bourbon, and I'll be right back.
Well, I'm sitting here waiting on a nuclear war, and when I see that mushroom, I'll be crying for more. I think I'd like to be at ground zero and go out on the very first wave. It's kind of like drinking. If you drink, you die, and if you don't drink, you die anyway. And if you don't drink, you die anyway. In the morning I'll be spraying stuff under my arm, and I'm thinking that aerosol is doing me harm. I'm probably gonna die of skin cancer, 'cause the ozone is fading away. It's kinda like smoking. If you smoke, you die. And if you...
I'm putting this up on the screen here, and a lot of you may already know about this, but WordPress.com. Not a fucking big secret, but you may have never heard of it. You can create a website for free, easily, without credit card information, without a bank account, without shit, in about 5 minutes. And if there's enough people that decide, hey, I'm going to create a blog, or I'm going to create a website for atheists who are transgender, or I'm going to create a website to help people that have addictions that are atheists or whatever. I may, if I get enough response or people that need to help, I'll do a video tutorial. But there's already video tutorials on YouTube on WordPress. It's WordPress.com. You see it there at the top, and it's as simple as hitting create a website. That's how fucking simple it is, and it starts instantly. And you can just create a blog. You can select, I want to do a blog, and it'll do a blog, and you just type shit in. And it doesn't matter if you make spelling mistakes or somebody calls you out on you used where and you're supposed to use were with an apostrophe. Who gives a goddamn fuck? Bottom line is, get your message out there, because there's people out there that will hear this. There's people out there that will see your writing, and they will, you'll change lives. You'll leave a ripple effect for eons beyond when anyone else remembers you. Not that that means shit to you because you'll be dead, but it means something to humanity. And something that I've noticed in the atheist community is that, and I'll tell you about personally what it means to me, but in the atheist community, what I've noticed is that most of us are humanists. Most of us are not narcissistic fucknuts. And we love humanity. So, not that you might not be remembered, but what you did carries over. And what you said carries over. And so I think it's important to encourage more to come out there. And you may not make $1 million. You may not become rich and famous in the atheist community. Nor should that probably be your guiding light, although there's nothing wrong with it. I have zero problem with it. If somebody goes, well, I'm doing this to make a living, I'm going to support them 100% because I don't give a fuck whether you're doing it for a living or not for a living. I'm tickle pink, and it's why I support other podcasters. But go to WordPress.com. If you don't understand it, you're new to the internet, and go to YouTube.com and type in just type in WordPress beginner, and you're going to come up with ways to create a website that are phenomenal, that are cheap, not even cheap. They're free. None of this is fake and none of this is gimmicky. It's free. So how the fuck do you pass that up? And I guarantee you, if you're listening right now, you have a story. Guarantee it. If you're breathing, you have a story, and that story is going to touch someone. It's going to help someone. It may make them cry. It may change their life. It may make them a better parent. It may make them a better spouse. It may make them a better lover. It may make them a better sex machine, whatever the fuck it is. Something that is seriously lacking in the atheist community is talk about even sex in a forum where it's sexual. There's a few, but there's not enough. There's Daryl Ray. If you haven't looked him up, look up his podcast, another fucking podcast I follow that's phenomenal. I love Daryl Ray. He's changed my life. In fact, there was one book that I could say changed my life. It was the book Sex and God by Daryl Ray. I was fortunate enough to meet him, get the goddamn book. If sex has played a bad role in your life ever, because of religion, make something, create something. Even if you go, I don't have time to blog, it doesn't fucking matter. Do you have time to do one every 6 months? One article, 6 months. Short article. 2 paragraphs. Probably you do. Do it while you're on the commode. It doesn't matter. You're gonna touch some people, and you're gonna help others, and that's what's important. And I can't even tell you the benefit it's going to be to you. I can't even begin to emphasize the benefit that will have on you. Getting those stories out there, talking about it, doing those types of things. Here's another website. Okay. Here's the other website I want to show you. It's called Xeno Live, and it's absolutely fucking free. If you followed Atheist on Air, you follow a lot of us. We use Blog Talk Radio because it was all there was. It was a place for people to call in. One of the biggest features it had is for people to call in. And so it was an easy way to do it, but it cost money. Now you can do it for free. And yes, there's commercials. Yes, they manipulate some shit, but bottom line is it's free. And so until you have a following that's paying for you to go premium, without commercials or without stuff, then why the fuck not? Why the fuck not put a podcast out every month? Why the fuck not click the login button at the top up here, or sign up button, and they have all the features that a modern radio station would have built into this software. So you don't have to download anything. You click buttons. You can put in tags and music if you want to do all that fancy shit, or you can just fucking hit a button that says record, and you start recording. And even if you're reading it, doesn't matter. Nobody's seeing you. And you start recording that shit. And you go, hi, my name is Snickenbockum Fliggenfloggum. And you start putting that in. And you start telling your story. And then you start sharing that. Share it with me. Share it with Steph. Share it with the people that are putting on this, hosting this fucking, this convention, online convention. And it'll start getting passed around. And pretty soon, you'll be a household name to many. And then your message starts touching people, starts helping people, starts changing lives. There's other ways too. There's Google Hangouts. Just type in Google Hangouts or how to Google Hangout. You don't even have to know how. You click a button, play, record, and now you got a Google Hangout. And you could go, I'm going to do this every day for 5 minutes. And people can log in and ask me questions. And we're going to talk about sex, or we're going to talk about oral sex and atheism, or we're going to talk about this or that. There's people out there that are horribly... I got an email from a guy one time. I've got some emails that make you cry, made me cry. But I got an email from a guy one time. He masturbates a lot. And he's felt guilty all his life because of religion. He's now an atheist. He still masturbates a lot and still feels guilty. And I was fortunate enough to be able to turn him on to Dr. Darrell Ray and Sex and God book. And not fix him because there was nothing goddamn wrong with him, but make him realize that there was nothing wrong with him. No longer does he wake up depressed. No longer does he make little promises to himself tomorrow that he'll only masturbate twice. Because there was nothing wrong with him. Didn't affect his marriage. Didn't affect his job. There was nothing fucking wrong. It's like calling me up and going, I eat peanut butter twice a day. Okay. So fucking what? So he masturbates twice a day. Who gives a fucking shit? So, no matter who you are or how strange you may think you are, I love you. I love you. Look at the goddamn screen because I'm talking to you. I love you. And I want you to know that you're not alone. There is people out there like you, does it more times than you, who would love to hear from you. And I would encourage you to get the fuck onto WordPress or Google Hangouts or Zeno Live and start putting your message out there and change lives. And let's make the world a better place, a little at a time. And I mean, you can't imagine how quick this grows. I watched it in person. So I want you to do it. I thank you for listening to me. I thank you for bearing with my blathering. And I want you to send me what you do. If you have the chance and if you have the time, send me something. Say, listen, Cash, here's what I did. I wrote this one blog article. I don't know if I'll ever write another one, but I put it out there and I put it on Facebook or whatever. Or can you help me put it on Facebook? Whatever it is. It's skepticcash@gmail.com. That's skepticcash@gmail.com. Send me an email and go, here's my new podcast. Or I did one episode of a podcast. Don't know if I'll do another one. Whatever it is. and let me hear it. You can fake your name. You can fake anything you want. That doesn't make you less of a person. If you need to hide your identity for now, hide it. I'm still hiding it. That's been almost 7 years now. I've been hiding my identity. Um, I want to hear it. There's other people that want to hear it. You matter. You matter bigger than you think you matter. And I'm glad you exist. I'm glad you're on this planet at the same time as that I am able to communicate with you. And hopefully I'm fortunate enough for you to communicate with me. I love you, and I thank you, and I hope you enjoy the fuck out of this convention. And a lot of hard work went into them getting this done, prepared, marketed, and done. So give them a thumbs up, a high five, or whatever the fuck. Shoot them a bird, and stay with us. And hopefully I'll get to meet you in the future. I love you. See you later. This here is Pastor Roy from Cleo, South Carolina, at the Catfish Creek Trailer Park, First Baptist Church. That's in Cleo, South Carolina, as I said before. And that is in Marlboro County with an M, just like the cigarettes. I would like to tell everybody that I endorse this message from Brother Feuerstein. He's a good man. He's a good-hearted man. He's got a big heart. He used to be a really fat guy. He's got a big heart because he used to pump a lot of places. Now, he's a skinnier feller, but he's still got a big heart. His heart stayed the same size, and I just want to endorse him and this message to yuns. Test 1 2, test 1 2. Test 1 2, test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2, test 1 2, test 1 2.